Okay, Mr. Mamdani remains in Uganda for his wedding celebration inside this compound. The New York Post is covering it quite a bit. He chose not to come back yesterday in the midst of the mayor's race. He did post this on X 107, please. I'm heartbroken to learn of the horrific shooting in Midtown, and I'm holding the victims, their families, and the NYPD officer in critical condition in my thoughts. Grateful for all of our first responders on the ground. Um, it's common in my business to say, oh, it's too soon to talk politics. No, I talk politics the first minute because the politicians are thinking about politics the first minute. Dan, would you expect that this incident will have an impact on the mayor's race?
Yes, it will, because anytime you have a tragedy like this, it sharpens the mind about public safety. It might give you pause for somebody who is relatively inexperienced, who's had some views of the New York City Police Department, of the role they play in public safety that are different. I mean, to me, I find them abhorrent, but I get it. Some people may agree with him. And so I think I'll be curious how Adams and Cuomo, obviously Adams is a sitting mayor. This is like in his wheelhouse now to be a leader.
And he's been front and center.
Front and center, as you would expect the sitting mayor to be. How does Andrew Cuomo deal with this? And if I were Mamdani, I would get on a plane immediately and come back. I think it's a terrible look that you're out there and you put out just a tweet. I mean, the politics is optics. I would not be out of sight right now.
Yeah, and just to be clear, New York City mayors have no greater responsibility than to be on top of stuff like this. And so he's not rising to the occasion. Maybe he thinks it doesn't matter. Sean, does it matter?
Well, and Mark, I mean, to that point, where mayors who have not been present during snowstorms, during floods, like the history in this city of mayors who just put a statement out and don't leave where they are is pretty long, and they've paid prices for it every time.
Sean, do you think this impacts the mayor's race? If so, how?
So I do. I think it impacts it for the reasons that Dan suggested. I mean, how do you not talk about public safety, hardening institutions and buildings, both public and private resources that the city will offer, but also, again, to Dan's point, your position on public safety and policing is questionable. You tell me how somebody, yesterday came to respond to that without a gun would have handled it. I'd love to hear that one. And so the idea that Mamdani has continued to talk about sending social workers out to certain situations is definitely going to be a problem. I will tell you, I'm a little conflicted on the political response. I think you guys know my position on what I think of this individual, but I do give him a bit of a break when you're not mayor. The idea of rushing back of an incident. I mean, I get the optics, and although if I were him, I'm not sure that why do you? I don't know. I get it may not be a tweet, but you need to do more or something. But you're powerless. The event is over. I'm not sure that maybe getting back sooner is better, but I don't know that I fully am on board with, if I were his campaign manager and he called and said, do I need to get on a private plane right now and land in 20 hours? I'd say, when are you getting back? Let's maybe get back sooner rather than later. But I'm not sure getting back on the next flight is of the utmost.
One thing to focus on, heightened from even before, is who's this police commissioner going to be, and is he going to give people an indication of that before the election? He's going to have to have a strong police commissioner if he wins. And there've been talk of him keeping the incumbent, who's also been front and center since the shooting, Ms. Tish, and I don't believe she will be his police commissioner. I'll say that. Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.